Hi there, it's Peter here, the guy who hates tomatoes but loves front-end development, and in today's screencast I wanted to show you a little bit behind the scenes of the website Deconstruction site which I'm working on. And actually by the time this video goes onto YouTube, the project's gonna be probably live. So I wanted to show you a few of the plugins I'm using and the framework and why I actually used CSS Foundation or Foundation CSS Framework. And as you know, I'm not in my office. I'm on a holiday, so I survived my marathon run, and I went to recover from it with the family to the north of Australia. We're feeding some crocodiles, swimming at the pool most of the time, and in my spare time, I'm putting the site together, which few plugins made it super easy for me. So I wanted to share the plugins with you. First thing I wanted to mention is the Foundation CSS. As you know, Foundation and Bootstrap are the probably most common used CSS frameworks. I decided to use CSS Foundation. Not really sure why. There is nothing I've got against Bootstrap, but CSS Foundation always worked for me. I found it easier. The grid system and CSS Bootstrap framework, I found it more suitable for apps and web apps. But yeah, CSS Foundation is much easier, and what made it even more easier is the Foundation Press by Olaf Fredrik, which is starting framework or starting theme built on Foundation 5. So if you're familiar with Foundation, you can grab this framework and start building sites straight away. Really, it's super easy to get you started and saves you a lot of time. And because I want to concentrate on the website deconstruction, on the content, and not really maintaining a lot of things around the site, I wanted to keep it super simple. So that's why I used Foundation CSS, Foundation Press as a starting theme, and then I converted the design using that framework. So the designs I was working from is using 12-column grid, which is perfect because CSS Foundation is using Foundation CSS is using 12 columns as well. So it was very easy to just slice it up into the grids and work out the rest of it. So yeah, definitely check it out, foundationpress.olafredrik.com. You can download it and start using it straight away. The perfect thing included in this framework is also the grunt file, so you don't have to set up anything. You just install the theme and then run grunt inside of your theme folder. So I've got everything installed in a WD folder, and then WP content themes WD is the theme folder. And as you can see, there is a grunt file already in there. I didn't have to change anything in here. It just works out of the box, minifies all the CSS, minifies all the JavaScript into one file, and yeah, as I said, works like a charm straight out of the box. You don't have to be expert in grunt. You just go to that theme folder and run grunt, and it will just work for you and watch every CSS or Sass file changes and save the CSS for you. So definitely one of the plugins which made it super easy and super quick for me to put the site together. So I hope it will save you some time as well. Now let's have a look at the admin side of things and which plugins I'm using in the backend of the WordPress installation. It's the latest 4.0, I think. Yeah, it's version 4.0, and I installed advanced custom fields, using it just for a little thing. When I'm on the project detail, every project will have an external link to the site itself. So this lampensdesign.com is actually custom field, and each post can have its own obviously own URL. So that's what I'm using it for. Later on I want to build also the front side, the upcoming project. I still need to hook this on to advanced custom fields and make this CMS manageable as well. At the moment it's all hard coded, but I hope to do it before the site goes live next week. The next plugin I'm using is Ajax thumbnail rebuild, which is a plugin very handy when you adding a new dimensions of your images. So in your themes or functions files. So if I go to theme support, you might have these into functions PHP. If you add another image size and you want your existing images also be re-rendered or recreated with this new site, that's where Ajax thumbnail rebuild is very handy. So with a press of a button, it can rebuild the new size thumbnails for you. Askimet, I'm planning to activate it once the site goes live. Backup Buddy I'm using for migration and backing up all my sites. So that's a premium theme from iThemes, or premium plugin from iThemes. Then I'm using Crayon Syntax Highlighter. So when you are on the project detail page or deconstruction detail page, you'll see code snippets in a nice sort of syntax highlighted views. So that's what's using Crayon Syntax Highlighter. Very easy to customize. And yeah, one plugin I'm using on most of my sites. Easy Foundation Shortcodes, which is another handy plugin if you're using Foundation as your CSS framework. So if I go to a post view and let's say testing project and scroll down to the content view, in here I can simply click on this EFS drop down, and that gives me all the elements from CSS Foundation framework. And let's say you want tabs, it gives you the shortcode. You can give it a custom class and what would render on the front end. So if I update this testing project and load it on the front end, so let's go back to the front end, load the testing project. There should be tabs already working. Okay, so this content is changing based on which tab you click on. Obviously I haven't installed it because I'm not using it, but if I wanted to use it, I would just install it to fit my design. See two opening brackets here. So yeah, this is very handy, gives you access to all the elements from CSS Foundation and lets you render the right content on the page. Then I'm using Easy Google Fonts because I'm using Open Sans and I'm planning to use a couple more fonts for the headlines. So yeah, I'm calling it through the Easy Google Fonts plugin. And then another very handy plugin if you're ever building a community or a blog sort of website, then Subscribe to Comments Reloaded is a very handy plugin which lets you to subscribe to comments. So when you go to a post, it will give you an option. It will give the users an option to check a checkbox and subscribe to comments, and then later on they can unsubscribe or they can follow just replies to their comment. It's very handy, drives people back into the site once they leave, and if they're interested to see the follow-up comments, they will just receive simple email notification and come back to the site. Okay, so that's the Subscribe to Comments Reloaded. And I think that's about it. As I said, I want to keep it very, very simple. I'm using MailChimp for email sign up. So if you sign up, you'll receive a weekly notification about the new deconstruction. So if you're not on the list, jump on it right away. And as I said, I'm using MailChimp for that and just hard coded the default MailChimp sign up form, which then redirects to a page on this page to confirm your subscription. Okay, so I think that's about it. I covered all the plugins. As I said, it's very simple. I want to keep it simple because I want to concentrate on bringing you good quality deconstructions, which you will learn from it as much as I learn while doing them. The deconstruction, which is coming up next week, was very, very interesting to put together, and I particularly like the images, how they actually visually explain how the effect was created. So stay tuned for that one. I think when it's live, so if you check the site now, there should be 3 deconstructions plus little blurb about the site itself. So yeah, there should be 3 deconstructions now if you're watching it the first week after the launch, and then always this upcoming section will list the new upcoming project. Alrighty, so that's all from me today. Hope you're working on something exciting as well, and don't forget to check out the website deconstructions.com. Get in touch if you've got any questions, or if you've come across a website which is worth deconstruction, submit it through the Submit a Site button, which just sends me an email and I'll have a look at it. Okay, until next time, have a great time, and I'll see you then. Bye.